Hello there, this is Talking About Necrons, I'm GodSmasherBot, and today it's about the Necron Lord. The Necron Lord is 100 points, he's your main HQ choice, apart from a couple of special characters, but then they are so overpowered and so overpriced that they are not worth taking in a small game because you won't be able to survive long enough to use their awesome abilities. So for your everyday, general use, HQ choice, the Lord fits this niche perfectly. Now, a Lord has a good enough stat line to hold his own in combat, and that's exactly why he should be holding his own in combat. All his war gear points towards being more effective in combat, with only a few options extra for different support roles. Other than that, the Lord it is pretty limited to what he can do on the field. His stat line is as follows: weapon skill and ballistic skill 4, strength and toughness 5. I mean, he's good and durable, and he can hit, and he's wounding most things on a 3. He has initiative of 4, not quite as good as some your other things such as banshees and other Sonesh kind of things, I suppose. For close combat specialist units, but he's still not too bad at toughness 5. He should survive long enough to get his attacks back. He has 3 attacks, 3 wounds, leadership 10 and a 3+ save. He's an independent character, and regularly, without any options, he is armed with a power weapon, which has a 12-inch shooting attack at strength 5, AP 3, assault 3. It's kind of like a mini missile launcher kind of weapon. It's got AP 3, so it's killing Marines, but it is also assault 3 and strength 5. So you're killing Marines on a 3+, you get 3 shots. So maybe you use it to take out some of your veterans or something. Something like that. Anything with a 3+ save or worse can be taken out by that. It's not something to rely on though, because you only get 3 shots. So he has a weapon skill of a ballistic skill of 4, so you're hitting on 3s. I wouldn't always rely on it. Okay. This can be upgraded to a war scythe for plus 10 points. For the war scythe, you lose your shooting attack, because it's not the same war scythe as a pariah's war scythe, because it doesn't have the built-in Gorse Blaster. Read the Codex. And with that war scythe, however, you do get to roll 2d6 plus your strength for armor penetration against vehicles, and you ignore all armor saves, including invulnerables. This means that chaplains and terminators and any other really annoying things, which are so hard to take down in combat, can be felled in one charge attack from the Lord. The Lord would have 4 attacks on the charge, and so is ideal to charge into combat with small enough elite squads, or if you want to have him go about the field popping tanks. He's good for this, and so should be used as such. Now, my 2 main ways of running a Lord are as follows. Either have the Lord on a destroyer body, and group him with some wraiths or some scarabs, who can actually keep up with him, because they also move as a jet bike, and can run into combat quite easily, because they're combat units. Or have the Lord with a Veil of Darkness, and Resurrection Orb, and War Scythe, and then group him with something like Flayed Ones, who have Disruption Fields, and then have them warp around the field. Well, not warp around the field, because it's using Deep Strike rules, and it's a Veil of Darkness, so I suppose it's a teleport, would be the operative word. But instead of regular Deep Strike rules where you can't assault, you can assault with this, because you're only moving as Deep Strike. I know, I've checked in my local store with the people who run it, and they've said, yeah, that's fine. So that works well. And what I use him for, my Veiling Lord, is to go around popping tanks. First movement phase, you Veil of Darkness over to your opponent's tanks, charge in, you get your 4 attacks because it hasn't moved, and then you basically just destroy it. You wreck it first round without having to worry about consequences. And then when you consolidate, you move towards the next tank. If you're not close enough, or you want to do something else, then you wait until the next turn and veil somewhere else. You've got to worry about enemy squads and terrain and stuff, because it is moving as Deep Strike, and so the mishaps do apply. But that's all you need to worry about. Now, back to the Destroyer Lord. The Destroyer Lord will have a toughness of 6. Not a brackets toughness 6, but an actual toughness 6, because his body is part of the thing he's riding. So, we can assume that it is as follows. Also, it actually says in the Codex. With the Lord, on a Destroyer body, you want to run him with a Resurrection Orb, the Destroyer body, War Scythe, and possibly some other piece of war gear. I'm not too fussed. If you run a Lord like that, if I run him with Scarabs, I'll give him a Lightning Field, and then give all the Scarabs Disruption Fields, because then I can have him as a Bug Zapper Lord. A Bug Zapper Lord is fun to play. A Bug Zapper Lord is when you take a large group of Scarabs with your Destroyer Lord, and any wounds inflicted on the Scarabs will trigger the Lightning Field, which is very nice against weaker opponents. You go into a large group of conscripts or something, or a large group of Kroot. Anything which has large numbers or relies on a large number of people to get a large number of attacks, but isn't particularly strong. So yeah, things like that. It's fun to do that, and I actually almost killed Marneus Calgar that way. In fact, actually, I reduced him to 1 wound with the Lord, and almost killed him with my Scarabs. So that was fun. What else can you do with him? Yes, if you group him with Wraiths, however, it's a different story, because you're going to have fewer Wraiths, but you're going to be striking a lot quicker with the Wraiths, and you're going to have more high-strength attacks. So, a Lord on the Destroyer body with War Scythe and Wraiths to follow him is very fast and is very deadly. You may have watched my video about the Stormcaller War Cell. If you haven't, watch that, and you should get a general idea of what you can do with the Lord and some Wraiths. Okay. How am I doing for time? I've got 3 minutes left, sort of. Okay. A Lord not going to close combat is a Lord not necessarily not well spent. Because if you have a second Lord in your army, then this Lord can fill a support role. Now, a supporting Lord will be more defensive and will have his sights set on keeping your units alive so that they can hold objectives and maintain the level of Necrons required to avoid phase-out. A supporting Lord is very useful. Give him a Resurrection Orb. In fact, while I'm here making this point, always give a Lord a Resurrection Orb. It should always be taken, no matter what other things you want to take. Always take a Resurrection Orb, because it will keep your things alive long enough for them to get their willy back. And it is just so useful. I cannot stress the importance enough of taking a Resurrection Orb. You are stupid if you do not take one. It will save your ass so many times. And now I'm going to finish this sentence. Okay. Finally, no, not finally, because it's not the end of the video, but anyway. A Lord in support role should be given some of the more defensive things, like a Nightmare Shroud or a Phase Shifter, just so he can keep your things alive. Now finally, in my next video I shall be covering the elites, starting with the pariahs, because the pariahs are rather good. I've done this video quite quickly speaking, because there's a lot to say about the Lord. In other attempts at this video, I rambled on for ages and didn't get much said. I'm hoping to keep up this level of speed in my next couple of videos as they go on, because I like going at this rate of speed, and it works well for me. Okay, so when you're running a Lord, always run him as either close combat, or if you have a second Lord, as a support. Other than that, it's not worth it. And about the Catan, never run them in a 1500 point game or less. That's it for this video. See you next time.